Blessed that is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the Eden, nor sitteth in the seat that is scornful, but his delight is in the love, Lord. And in this Lord I say, I detect sunrise and sundown. He will there like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth fruit in the season. Him leave never I go wither, and whatsoever him do shall prosper. Yay! The heathen them now they saw them there like a chaff, which the wind driveth away. Therefore the heathen them never go turn upon judgment of the sinner man them in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord God Jah loveth the way of the righteous and the way of the sinner man them always and always I go perish. Let the people of the Most High God say, Jah! The Lord is thy shepherd, I shall not want. Him maketh I lie down in a green pastures. Him leadeth I beside still water them. Him restoreth I soul. Him leadeth I into the path of righteousness for him name's sake. Yea! Though I RASTA, I go walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I can't fear no evil, for thy rod and thy staff them comforted I and I. Who prepare a table before I in the presence of our enemy them. Who anointed I head with no oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy. I go follow I all the days of I ven. I go dwell in the house of the Lord God Jah. Kadama we groma beate la e au mau sobolisa. Adanu wato. Ewo asiple afo. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Subhanahu wa ta'ala. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High Jah shall therein abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And I give thanks and I say unto that name that is greater than every other name. With the mention of that name, every knee must go down. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushonemo, where we speak truth to power. And my name, Blakk Rasta. Now in every traditional African home there is a black pot, and each time it sits on the fire. We see so many ingredients coming into this black pot. The ingredients are of different colors, shapes, and sizes, and even taste, flavors, and smells. But they decide to put aside all these differences, come into the black pot, and be subjected to some amount of heating. And they produce one beautiful homogeneous product known as food. The food is not for the benefit of the ingredients, neither is it for the benefit of the pot, the black pot. It is for the benefit of the people who are us. My brother, my sister, so selfless. Now the black pot represents the continent of Africa, and the ingredients in the black pot represent us as a people. We must put aside all our differences, play in the black pot as the continent of Africa to be able to bring about what is known as development for our people. This is the black pot, aka Kukushonemo, where we speak truth to power. And in this segment, we don't like to criticize, but if we must criticize, we would only just criticize to build and not to destroy. We are here to rewire the thinking, the mindset of our people. We are here to be able to make sure that the average African puts away things of old that have not benefited us all this while, to hold on to new things that will lead us into the new world. We cannot keep doing the same old things all this while over and over. We are thinking beings. Times are changing, and we are masters of creation. So we must be able to bring our mastery into being and bring all our shoulders onto the wheel to make sure that things change. The problem of Africa is not a problem of roads and schools and hospitals. It's a problem of the mind. We are dealing with the mindset. If the mindset is right, Africa would be heaven, better than the Garden of Eden. How many people believe this? My brother, my sister, if the mindset is wrong as it is right now, People will steal from the government, steal from themselves, and think that they are stealing from somebody else. People will destroy the things government has put in place. People would only seek power and leadership only to steal. It will be a conduit pipe to thievery. But if the mindset is right, people who are in power see themselves as sacrificial lambs, just like Kwame Nkrumah and the rest. My brother, my sister, we are en route this path. And this is what we are doing right here. We don't do politics. What we do is called patriotism. Well, my name is Blakk RASTA, and our numbers are rolling on the screen. We have wide coverage all over the world. We are live on Pan-African TV. And on Pan-African TV, we are the masters of Pan-Africanism. Via the power of satellite, we are seen all over the continent of Africa. We are seen all over the world. We are also live on Loud Silence TV. Yes, Loud Silence TV. And of course, live on Ghana Web TV and our own TV, the Black Empire TV. This is the Black Pot, and your business will do so well here. All you need to do is to contact us. Let's do business. The more you do business with us, the more you give us the political and, of course, financial muscle to be able to garner through and, of course, make things happen. Yes. When you speak the truth, you know it's bitter. Many people will run away from you. But I believe that you will stay with the truth. That is the only way we can make Africa better. Do business with us. This is the Black Pot, a.k.a. Kukushonomo. And today we have things rolling in the news reel. We want to look at that very quickly. Number one. Now, the very first thing we want to look at is this. And it says, Kwame Nkrumah, epitome of anti-corruption. Friday was International Anti-Corruption Day around the world. Nkrumah was a master when it came to anti-corruption. Who was Kwame Nkrumah? The man on your screens. His story brings tears into my eyes. I'm going to start with a quote of Kwame Nkrumah. What did he say? He said, and I quote, "The best way to fight corruption is to build a strong public opinion against it." The best way to fight corruption is to build a strong public opinion against it. In other words, let everybody come to understand the mindset that corruption is evil, that corruption is nothing but terrible, dehumanizing. Because when you are corrupt, you deny the very good people of your jurisdiction the opportunity to livelihood. Your corruption kills people. So when you walk about and say, "Oh, I've never killed anybody," no, you are making a mistake. You have killed people by the corruption that you've been engaged in. Nkrumah said we should build a strong public opinion against corruption. Who was Kwame Nkrumah? Powerful man who was born in Nkrumah in 1909. He was brought all the way from the white man's land to come down into this country and help with the independence of this country. At that time, there was a political party that was founded in 1947 by name the UGCC, the United Gold Coast Convention. And these were the people at the helm of affairs at the UGCC. Now, the UGCC itself was founded by George Grant, a.k.a. Pa Grant. Pa Grant was a very powerful merchant. In fact, he had ships that were operating in so many different parts of the world, including in the United Kingdom, Liverpool. He had gone through a lot of injustices whilst he was into his timber merchant business. And he told himself that the way forward must be independence for the black man. And he wanted to start with his own country. He was an Nzima man, all the way from Nzima. And when he was told that, listen, there is this great man out there called Kwame Nkrumah, and it was Akwanje, the second person, right? The third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. All the people behind Kwame Nkrumah from the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, my brother, my sister, were very powerful people who were seen to be very knowledgeable. Some of them were even lawyers. Kwame Nkrumah was not a lawyer. Kwame Nkrumah set off to become a preacher. So in the row here, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, they were powerful people who had already formed a certain formidable party known as the UGCC. But when Kwame Nkrumah arrived in 1947, on the invitation of Pa Grant, another Nzima like him, it was interesting. Why did they invite Kwame Nkrumah? If Kwame Nkrumah was an Ashanti, there was no way they would have invited him. You know why? Because historically, the Achim and the Ashantis had wars in the past. And one of the bitterest defeats meted out to the Ashantis was in the hands of the Nzimas. I beg your pardon, the Achims. The Achim people were those who took the life of Osei Tutu. They took his life, one gunshot. And when he was dying, what did he say? Ankamenema. Ow, Ankamenema. He went to the war unprepared. And when he arrived, he was shot just around the river Pra, and it ended his life. So the Ashantis never forgave the Achims. What did they do? The Ashantis didn't want to have anything to do with the Achims. The Ashantis were only interested in revenging the death of their king. So when Nkrumah came out as part of the UGCC, the Ashantis supported him a lot because the UGCC was made up of a lot of Achims. Bring back that photo. Now you realize that apart from Akwaje and Kwame Nkrumah, the rest of them were Achims. Achims. Yes. So what happened? The Asantis decided to rally behind Kwame Nkrumah. At that time, it was in the reign of Prempeh, the king of Asante. And he brought people like Krobo Eduse, brought some other people to come and join Kwame Nkrumah so that they will be able to wrestle power away from the Achims. And the Asantis were formidable. But the interesting story I want to tell you is this. When Nkrumah arrived in 1947, 2 years later in 1949, he had already broken away from the UGCC, the United Gold Coast Convention. Why did he break away from them? He arrived in 1947 on the invitation of Pa Grant. He stayed in Pa Grant's house for about 4 days or 5 days before he came to meet with the leadership of the UGCC, the bourgeoisie coffee party. Until Nkrumah arrived, they thought that they had a formidable party. But when he came, he only realized that they had a hen coop party, aka a tea party, a bourgeoisie tea party. It was a tea club. Nkrumah set up an office right there and then and opened branches all over the country. When he gave them a budget, they asked for a budget and he asked them for a budget. When the budget came, Nkrumah gave it out, they received it, and they were like, wow, what is this? It is so much, it costs so much. Nkrumah said it covers the whole of the area. They didn't want the Ashanti to be part of it. Because, remember, this UGCC had a lot of Achim elements in there. And the Achims and the Ashantis were not too cordial at the time. So the party said, we don't want the accounts to be, I beg your pardon, the Asantis to be part of it. We want them out. The British defeated them. And if the British people are going, they should take the king and the Ashanti kingdom away in quotes. They wanted the Ashanti out of the way. They only wanted the so-called Gold Coast territory to be independent. The northern part was not part of it. The Everland, Volta was not part of it. And and the Ashanti Kingdom was not part of it. But Nkrumah brought all these people together. My brother, my sister, Friday was celebrated as World or International Anti-Corruption Day. And we are looking at Kwame Nkrumah, the epitome of anti-corruption. When he came to work for the UGCC, they never found anything wrong with him in terms of embezzlement. He did everything uprightly. And see the interesting thing that happened. When the 1948 riots came, Kwame Nkrumah was on his way all the way to Cape Coast. And when he arrived in Cape Coast, on the way, he saw some kind of agitation. And when he came down from his car and found out what it was, he realized that some of the teachers in some of the schools, like Adisadel that was founded in 1910, and some other such schools like Mfansepim and the rest, had their teachers rusticated, removed from the school, and even some of the students, because they took part in the 1948 demonstration, the so-called rioting. So they removed them from the schools. The colonial man removed them. Nkrumah said, let's come together. Let's find land. Let's build a school here. At that time, he was the general secretary of the UGCC. He did not consult his party. They started building that school. It was built, my brother, my sister, right at the time in 1948. Look at it. Pro-Patria, pro-nation. We are talking about our country. 1948, long before the independence of Ghana. Watch it. Ghana National College, Nkrumah named it. At that time, there was no Ghana, but he called it Ghana National College. But Nkrumah was not the only man who knew the name Ghana. There was a land, vast piece of land, that was so rich and powerful, an ancient kingdom whose capital was Kumbisale and whose kings were called Ghana. One of the greatest kings that ever came out of the Ghana kingdom was Dinga Sisi. He was so powerful and spiritual that he rose to the status of a deity. People worshipped him. He could appear and disappear at will. Kwame Nkrumah named that school Ghana National College, right there in Cape Coast. That is it. To accommodate the teachers and students who had been rusticated by the colonial man. That is why you see Kwame Nkrumah's bust sitting right down there. He sponsored that from his pocket. That was not the only school Nkrumah built from his pocket. Now, when you go to the University of Science and Technology, there is also the Republic Hall. Nkrumah took money from the CPP, his own party, after he broke away from the UGCC. That's it. That's it. You see the cock. When you go to Republic Hall, their symbol is the cock, the red cock. And that cock is a CPP cock. Today, unfortunately, they've painted that cock white because they don't know the history. It's supposed to be a red cock. I went to UST Kumasi, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And interestingly, we call that hall Akukoripo. Akukoripo. But they don't know the history. So they have decided to paint it white. But that cock is the red CPP cock. Why? Because Nkrumah took the money from the CPP. At that time, Ghana was not ready to build a hall like that. Nkrumah said, but we will have to build it. Individuals will have to build it. The party would have to come together and do it. And that was what Nkrumah did. Forward ever, backwards never. Today we're talking about Kwame Nkrumah, the epitome of anti-corruption. Friday celebrated as what? International Anti-Corruption Day. Nkrumah rose all the way with the support of Ashanti and so many different areas. Came together. The Northerners, the Evers, and the rest, who had been cut off by the so-called elements of the UGCC. They didn't want to hear about the North. Even at the point, J.B. Dankwa one of the so-called Big Six, wanted Ghana, this country, to be called Akan land, land of the Akans. They wanted to cut off every other person. And that's him there, J.B. Dankwa. He's the penultimate person, what you will say, last but one, in that thing from left to right. The guy in the white suit, he was a bourgeoisie, drinking tea and coffee and speaking like Queen Elizabeth. My brother, my sister, Nkrumah named the country Ghana. But as you were told before then, the name Ghana had existed. In fact, there was also a historical figure who was known as Anton Wilhelm Amo. Anton Wilhelm Amo was carried as a slave at a very young age of about 5 or 6, circa 7 years, on the slave ship. He ended up in Germany. Anytime he wrote his name, he added the last thing, Afer, A-F-E-R, which means African. And in his description, he wrote that he was from Guinea in Latin. And Guinea in Latin simply means Ghana. Long before Kwame Nkrumah, this man was born in what time? 1703. 1703. Over 250 years before this country became independent. He also referred to this area as Ghana. So the story of Ghana is beautiful. Now let us centralize and organize. Hear this. Kwame Nkrumah fought so hard and became president. He ruled this country with the people. But charlatans and idiots and fools in his own language removed him from power in 1966 with the help of the CIA and then the British intelligence and so on and so forth. They removed him. At independence, he wore the fugu to represent people from the north who had been alienated for a long time. All of them, this is the real Big Six, not the fake one that we saw at the beginning. But in our textbooks, that is the one they show us as the Big Six. But this is the fake Big Six. This one is a coffee party. It's a club of bourgeoisies. The real Big Six is the fugu-wearing Big Six. And you see them there. Raise their hands. And they are shouting, yes, and singing on the day of independence. My brother, my sister, when independence came, Ghana started running like a hare, hot on the heels of the slave master. No country in Africa gained its independence after Ghana without passing through for the blessing of Kwame Nkrumah. At a point, America referred to Kwame Nkrumah as the president of Africa. Nothing happened in Africa without Kwame Nkrumah. So what happened, my brother, my sister? Hear me now. Hear this. Kwame Nkrumah, his only source of income at that time, even though he wrote books, salary. They overthrew him in 1966 because they said he had been corrupt, stolen so much money he had put in his foreign accounts. At the same time, he had collapsed the Ghanaian economy. When he was removed with the help of the CIA and the other urchins from Britain and the others, as shown in the declassified files of the CIA, using some of the urchins, cockroaches, and grasshoppers from our country, like E.K. Kutuka and the rest of them. Nkrumah was overthrown. When Nkrumah went away, they decided to bring a very powerful lawyer, Nyama Olenu. That's Nyama Olenu, powerful lawyer. A Gaman, Nyama Olenu, formed a commission known as the Olenu Commission. And they were supposed to investigate Nkrumah to see how true it was about the corruption, the stealing, and whatever Nkrumah had gone through. Olenu realized after the investigation that Nkrumah had one bank account with the National Bank of Ghana And all the money that ever went in there was his official salary, agreed to by the parliament of this country. And every withdrawal was from that. He wept tears. He said, he recommended that wherever Nkrumah was in exile, they should find him and give back his money to him, because he had worked and sweated so hard. In fact, the shoe Nkrumah was wearing on the day that he was overthrown had chopped on one side that they had put talking. You know what it means, talking? Shoe patch. They put it there. Here we call it talking. It had chopped. And in it was printed, property of Ghana. The suit he was wearing had property of Ghana printed inside. Nkrumah was a Ghana walking. What happened? He went into exile. And when he got into exile, what happened, my brother, my sister? He told the whole country of Ghana, listen to this. You will regret by what you have done to me. This country was about to attain economic independence, but you messed it up. The fools messed it up in his own words when he sent us a broadcast all the way from Guinea in 1966, the same year he was overthrown. Here what happened now. Nkrumah, our own Nkrumah, had no money. He had very wealthy friends who were still in power, like Sekou Touré and the rest of them. Nkrumah was even writing letters to people who used to work with him in his office. Ladies, his own personal secretary, wrote to this lady to bring her or send him wine and some other drinks and biscuits from the UK, a president. He wrote, I miss this one from England. Please find a way to send me this drink, this number of biscuits, and that. He was not asking for money to be sent to him, stolen money that he had put in any account. No, he just wanted a cup of drink, sip, not. My brother, my sister, Nkrumah didn't steal anything for his family. He didn't even have a house. The house that was in Nkrumah was built by a man called E.K. Osei. Also, he was a contractor. Even with that, Nkrumah wasn't so happy with it. He refused to enter there. Nkrumah was never corrupt. Even his own children, Samia and the rest, had to work in London, taking cleaning jobs in order to live. The children of a former president, not just a mere president, a powerful president. Today, my brother, my sister, if we are celebrating International Anti-Corruption Day, it will be totally incomplete without looking at the Osagifo. To end it up, so many leaders in Africa took a cue from Kwame Nkrumah that, Nkrumah worked so arduously. He worked so hard. He never stole any money. He never had any security for his family. We will not make that mistake. When we are in power, we will steal as much as we can. Stash that in foreign accounts. So when we are no longer in power, at least our children can fall on the stolen cash. We will not make that mistake Nkrumah made. That's why Mugabe said, corruption in Ghana started after 1966 when Nkrumah was overthrown. Today, my brother, my sister, we decided to dedicate the very first few minutes of our broadcast to the memory of the greatest anti-corruption campaigner and fighter. When he was overthrown, there was not a penny in his account. That did not come from his salary. Can you say that about Bill Clinton? Can you say that about Barack Obama? I'm not saying they were corrupt, but I'm asking, maybe they had other sources of making money, but Nkrumah, salary. and he depended on his salary until he left. He was the president. He could have stolen. He could have done anything. But no, we have lost a great hero. We have lost one of the best of our own. When again are we going to have a man like this? Now they said they overthrew him because he had started a certain one-party state, and at the same time he had run down the economy. Well, we have debunked the fact that the economy had been run down. How about the one-party state? It was done through a referendum. The people of Ghana agreed, and there was no way, nobody ever said that that one referendum that was done for the purpose of one-party state was rigged. Where is the problem? My brother, my sister, to God be the glory. This is the Blakk Pot, aka Kukushonomo, where we speak truth to power. Next thing I would like to look at, come, is this. And it says what? Watch it. Forget the poor. Give your money to God. Hallelujah. Who is that? Who said that? Oh, I know this man. I think he's called Reverend Dr. something Bempa. I've seen him preach before. I think he lives in London. So why would he say this? He's a man of God, isn't he? Forget the poor. Give your money to God. Wow. True? Oh, really? Maybe we don't understand him. Roll the guns. What does it say? You don't give what belongs to God to the poor. Pastor tells congregants. Oh, really? Come. Reverend Kojo Boatin Bempa of the Holy Hill Assemblies of God Church has advised Christians to be discerning in their attempts to be generous by giving to the needy. The senior pastor emphasized in his sermon to his congregation that some poor people are suffering the consequences of their bad decisions, such as Christians need discernment before deciding to give to the poor. The man of God is shown in a 22-second video posted by a Twitter user saying, even what belongs to God, we don't give to the poor because the reason why they are poor, nobody knows. It is not every poor person you must have mercy on. Some of them are going through the punishment of Satan and others. And that is why sometimes when giving to the poor, you need discernment. Did you hear that? Come. So don't give to the poor. Rather go and give it to God. Is God going to come down and take that money? When they say give it to God, it means give it to the church. What is the church? The pastor. So right now, there's a competition between the poor and the church. The poor and the pastor. The pastors are not even happy that we are giving to the poor. There was a pastor I asked some time ago, Pastor, the tithe, if members are supposed to come and pay tithe, on their way they see a poor man suffering, should they give it out? And he looked at me and he said, don't trick me. I said, no, I'm not tricking you. I'm just asking, on the way to church with my tithe, I see a very poor man who has been knocked down by a car. I need to take him to the hospital. I have to pay to carry him to the hospital. I get to the hospital, cash and carry. I need to pay for this man to be well. Should I do it or leave this person and bring the money to the church? He said, let me pray about it. I will answer you later. Hallelujah. He prayed and prayed and prayed. I kept asking and asking. One day he told me that, listen, you know the wise thing you will do? Go and pay for the man. Let him get well. When he gets well, let him repay so you come and give to the church. As I said, it might be sounding good. This is a poor man who cannot pay. If he cannot pay, then bring it to the church and leave him there. My brother, my sister, listen. We have become so materialistic that our hearts inside us are no more beating with emotions. The church is now fighting the poor. They prefer having the poor come to pay tithe, and they will pray for the poor to be rich. To giving money to the poor to start businesses, so they will pray that the businesses will explode. How many churches will let the poor in the church write down their names? So, well, the church is going to open a certain large farm. Those who have agricultural skills, you are going to be employed there. Those who don't have it, we will train you so that you'll be able to join within the next few weeks. Or the church is building a certain small factory, and church members are going to be employed there. So all the money, the tithe and whatever the church has had, that is where we are going to build. We shall have our worship in the factory. The factory is still going to serve as the church. We will meet there every morning and pray before we start work. You will see how the church will prosper. In those days, churches encouraged members to have backyard gardens. They brought foodstuffs to the church to give to the poor. These days, no. There's a big competition between the church and the poor. When you are poor, they don't even want to see you, because you are going to be a drain on their money. How many poor people go to the church and they sit in front? When you are poor, you must stay behind. And when the prophet comes in, he only prophesies to the rich. True? And when he gets to the poor, you know the prophecies he will get? You are about to die. Thus says the Lord, you shall die. How many prophets, modern day prophets, would even ask the church before they go in there, which ones are rich? You do not even need to ask, because they will sit them in front. By their dressing, you will know them. My brother, Reverend Dr. Bempa has goofed. What he has said, my brother, my sister, is devoid of sense. It's wickedness. These are the people who will tell you, go and empty your bank account. Come and put it before the altar. God will take care of you and your home. You go to the house, no food. Children are crying, meh, 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 meh. You say, read Psalm 1 and Psalm 2 and go to bed. By their fruits they shall be known. I have listened to him preach before. He came to Breakthrough Family Ministries International here in Accra, and I was there. He came to preach. What I expected to hear, I didn't hear it. It's the truth. There are some preachers who are overhyped. You see them on every billboard, yet what they preach doesn't make sense. The real preachers, they don't get the chance to preach. They are so poor. They will be under the man of God for 50 years. They will never climb the pulpit to pray. Let one rich man enter the church. They will by all means make you a pastor, so you can come and preach the next day. True? Was that what Christ taught? Christ taught them to abandon all the work they were doing and follow him as his disciples. Be careful. Those following him must abandon all the work they were doing and follow him. Abandon everything worldly. No car, no ship, no plane, nothing. Not even food. Christ said, Walk into the homes, knock on the door. The man in there, when he hears your voice, he shall open. And when he welcomes you in, he shall share his food with you. When Christ himself fed the people with bread and fish, he taught his disciples to be humble and lead a very serious life of humility. But in another vein, he had another group that followed him. And those other people were not necessarily disciples. They owned whatever they owned. There were even some who were tax collectors. They were also there. Do you want to be a disciple or you want to be a follower? There were two categories. And those in the second category helped the church in one way or the other to build it up. My brother, my sister, what Reverend Bempa said lacks common sense. I want to use some of the mildest words. Everybody makes mistakes. I wish that this man of God will come out and say that, well, what I really wanted to say did not land. Come! What I really wanted to say did not land properly. What I wanted to say was that when you meet a poor man, make sure that you uplift him if you can, rather than giving him chobo every day. Don't give him fish. Rather, teach him how to fish. That will make sense. But forget the poor man because Satan is punishing him, because he has been terrible. Have the spirit of discernment. You are indirectly trying to sow seeds of apathy in the congregation. True? I am sad. But with all respect, the preacher also needs a spirit of discernment. You need a spirit of wisdom. These days when we go to preach, we do not even pray for wisdom. Oh, I know it. I've been reading the Bible. So you go there, you talk hogwash. To God be the glory. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushonemo, where we speak truth to power. My church is you. The little I have, I will share it with you. My church is you. My tithe would go to you. That's why every day we pray for God to make us rich, not for ourselves, but to help people. And God will certainly make it happen. To God be the glory. When I return, we will be talking some more. In the interim, Mama Teresa has something to tell us in a quote. Hey! Wayo!
Blakk,
This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushonemo, where we speak truth to power. Remember to follow us on our social media pages. Yes, please follow us. Subscribe to our social media pages, which are going to be rolling on your screen soon. We are on Facebook. Same time, we are also on Twitter. We are at the same time on Instagram. Follow us. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and of course Twitter. And we are called Black Empire Media. Please follow us and remember to do business with us. Your money to us will never ever go to waste. We are in a hurry to enter into the spirit of Kwame Nkrumah and beyond. Yes, we can. We are looking at dealing with the mindset. That is what we deal with. And when the mindset of the Ghanaian changes, the mindset of the African changes, we have no problem. It's doable. And we are doing it. We shall make it happen. Next thing. Quickly. Moroccan World Cup players anti-Africa stance. Now we carried a story last week, and the Moroccan embassy in Ghana wasn't too happy with it. I mean, I had visited the embassy, I think a couple of months back. I mean, with a nice camaraderie, seen with the people. There's even a proposal for me to go to Morocco and perform and also do some other things with Moroccans. Listen, my brother, my sister, we are dealing with Africa. I love the Moroccan people. I love the Moroccan embassy here. I personally don't have any problem with any Moroccan. In the past, we have seen black people slaughtered in Morocco, in Fez. We have seen black people who on their way into Spain and some other such places through Morocco were killed by Moroccan soldiers. I don't remember if any Moroccan has ever been slapped in this country, let alone killing, from the days of Kwame Nkrumah up to now. There's mutual respect. But when black people go to Morocco, we don't hear too many good stories. It's not only Morocco, Tunisia. We see black people slaughtered in Tunis, Algeria, on the streets of Algiers. We see black people murdered summarily. It used to happen in Libya. I think it's still happening. When Muammar Gaddafi was in there, black people were slaughtered until he sat back and told himself that he had to realign with his African family. Because all along, he felt that he was an Arab. He had nothing to do with black Africans. I'm speaking the truth, brethren. Go to Sudan today. There are black people, darker than me. They don't see themselves as Africans. They see themselves as Arabs. True. Go to Sudan. They speak Arabic. So they see that they have more allegiance to the Arab world than the African world. The so-called Arab Spring. It's true. North Africans, right from the start, did not even want to be part of the OAU, Organization of African Unity. True. Some of them, even up to now, they are not members. They are not. My brother, when the Black Stars, or was it Asante Kotoko, a football club from Ghana, I can't remember, but I remember the incident. They met at a place they were supposed to share facilities. I've forgotten what North African team it was. I think it was Morocco or so. Morocco. The footballers refused to share facilities with the Black Stars, all because they felt that the Black Stars, they were black and Africans, and they were not. True or false? It's facts. We are dealing with facts. Listen, as long as that we claim we are Africans, all these artificial borders must break down. Kwame Nkrumah went all the way to marry in Egypt. He married in Egypt because he wanted to bring a certain kind of unity between the so-called Arab African and the black African. He married Fatia and brought her all the way to Ghana. The woman loved Kwame Nkrumah. She wrote in her will that, listen, when I die, bring me to Ghana and bury me next to my husband. And that was what happened. So today when I see North Africans behaving as if they don't want to be called Africans because they are light-skinned and something, I am ready to sacrifice my performance in Morocco and see Africa unite. I am ready to sacrifice my friendship with Moroccan embassy, Moroccan people, Algerian people, Tunisians, in order to have Africa unite. That's what we want. Can you tell me how many Moroccans have been killed in this country? Algerians? Can you tell me how many Tunisians have even been jailed in this country? Yet, if we want to count the number of black people who have been slaughtered in these North African countries, including Sudan, it's terrible. Look at the headline and tell me whether I'm right or wrong. Calm down. Watch this. Morocco's soccer team coach says his country represents Africa in the World Cup. Hold it there. I love that. This is a great guy. Listen on. He says what? Morocco's soccer team coach says his country, that's Morocco, represents Africa in the World Cup. Because he's what? African. Morocco is African. But why did he say this? Because another player bring his face. This guy is called Soufiane Aboufal. Soufiane Aboufal. He said something and it made the coach come down on him and say, hey, don't say that. The whole of Africa is supporting us. When Morocco won, we all were jubilated and happy because these are our African brothers. But this brother here, his name is Soufiane Aboufal. Let's read the story. Let's read the story. What does he say? On December 6, 2022, the Morocco national soccer team made history after defeating Spain and claiming a spot in the quarterfinal in Qatar. The victory makes Morocco the fourth African country to get into the World Cup quarterfinals after Cameroon, that's 1990, Senegal, 2002, and Ghana, 2010. Look at the next thing. With this achievement, across social media, people have hailed Morocco as an African victory. After the exit of African soccer teams, people in the continent decided to cheer on the Morocco soccer team. But the Moroccan FA, this is important. This is not coming from me. I didn't write this. This is from a news source. It's called Travel Noir. It's known across Africa. That's why I say, if it ever comes out that this is not true, then it is coming from the website that published this. But this is authentic. But the Moroccan FA has said that, that's the whole FA, Football Association, right? Has said that their World Cup win has nothing to do with Africa. Moreover, in a comment after their surprise victory over Spain, Morocco national team player Soufiane Aboufal, that's the guy whose photo you saw, the bearded guy, told international media that their win was for the Arab world. Thanks to all Moroccans all over the world for their support, to all Arab people and to all Muslim people, he said. 1, Moroccans. 2, Which ones? Arab people and African Muslims. Look at the next thing. It says Africa's flag. But the coach sitting somewhere listening to his players say this, and the Football Association also say this in Morocco, he started shivering. Maybe he asked himself, what are these guys saying? The coach. So he quickly took the mic. Morocco's coach, Walid Regragui, did not agree with Boufal. He said in an interview that he hopes to fly the flag of African soccer high. He said that after questioning if Morocco is playing for the Arab world. Oh, Jesus. Can you see that? Moroccan FA says the whole FA, under which we have the coach, we have the players. This is the FA boss. That's him, Lekja. That's the one who said, yes, their victory has nothing to do with Africa. After all, he looks like the people in America, people in some other place. They don't look like Africans. That's what he said. True. Bring the story. Look at it. I am not here to be a politician. We want to fly. Africa's fly high, just like Senegal, Ghana, and Cameroon. We are here to represent Africa. The ex-Wydad Casablanca coach told Goal. Goal is another entity, news entity. Regragui said he is looking forward to a time when Africa can produce a World Cup winner. That's a wise man. Sufyan Boufal did not talk wise. Lekja did not talk wise. Bring me Sufyan Boufal. Why? You belong to the Arab world. Is that your continent? Did you think about segregation? And this guy has not apologized yet. The whole FA. Bring the FA guy there. That's him. Fuad Lekja is what is on. Is it Fauzi? Yes, Fauzi Lekja. Nice, beautiful name. They say our victory has nothing to do with Africa. It's for the Arab world. You didn't talk wise. This was the picture I was asking of. Now, when you look at the two, you will think that the one down there is the African side, and the one up there is the European side because of their faces. But no, the one up there is the Tunisian side, the African side, right? And the one down there is the European side, France. They look black all over. Europe is becoming blacker even than Africa. And we need to bridge these gaps. Nkrumah fought so much to bring the Arab African world on the table so we all can hug. Say salamu alaikum when we meet you. Kaifa haluk and all that. But if it goes like this, I'm afraid we will fall apart. So Moroccan embassy, this is what it is. I didn't write this. This is the comment I can make to bring us all together. I'm not fighting Morocco. I'll never do that. But if some people claim that they don't want to be Africans, we let them go to wherever they want to go. True? Can a man run away from himself? My name Blakk RASTA. Hey! Wayo! Finally, let me close with this. It's going to take me just 1 minute and I'm done. Last one. We are done. We are going. It says stupid road toll returns. Which is this stupid road toll? Which is that? Who is saying this? Oh, pretty lady. I know this lady. She's an actress. I know her. Yeah, I know her. Yeah, she's my taste, you know. She has this nice, beautiful body. Whoa. Nice, beautiful. In some countries, we say you have to be slim and sickly before you look beautiful. This is my taste. Lydia Forson, when you are free, come let me buy you some good chocolates. And if you like to eat vegetables, I have some good cucumber, good banana. Can serve you in a nice salad. What a story. They believe us to be stupid. Lydia Forson, as road minister, makes U-turn on tolls. Dash it away. Well, the road minister decided that they were going to cancel the road tolls. He never went to the parliament. He did nothing about it. Arbitral power. He went there, cancelled it, and went into it because of the e-levy. When the e-levy failed, they came back and said, we are going back to the road tolls because we are stupid people. He needed parliamentary approval to be able to do that. But no, we live in a jungle. Roads minister, full of foolhardiness. Now they are coming back to the road tolls. And he's not even ashamed of himself. He says, and we are actually going to pay smaller road tolls. When we return, we'll talk more. In the interim, happy time. Full joy yourself. Hey!